the common man is about to get wrecked. I think inflation is going to make it exceptionally difficult. I think AI is going to make most jobs worth less than they already currently are. If you're a newspaper writer or whatever,
AI is taking that.
AI is going to take that in the next 10 years.
Yep.
And you're going to, if you still have a job, it's going to be only managing the AI, which means you're going to be paid even less than you're currently paid. I think life is about to become exceptionally difficult for the people in the middle. I think the good times are over. I think it's going to go back to the feudal system of kings and serfs and peasants. And I think if you're a normal, average person now, you should feel deep fear and panic and understand that you have a certain amount of time to get into the higher bracket of the social class before these hard times come. And the most scary thing about these hard times is, I have no real evidence for this. It's just in my mind. I feel like the gap is going to permanently close. In olden times, let me think about this thought, because in olden times, the chance of turning into anything more than a peasant when you were born a peasant was effectively zero, unless there was chaos, unless there was a war or some great catastrophe, which allowed social mobility for you to go to war, win, get a knighthood for bravery, get some land, and change your social mobility class. But there had to be war and chaos for you to escape, because without the chaos, it's kind of like a prison break. When all the rules are being adhered to and the prison is operating as it should, you're stuck in your cell. But if there's a prison riot, you have a chance to escape, which means uncertainty and chaos are required for the difference in social mobility. And that's always been the case. But now I feel like with AI and certain other things, although there's going to be instability in the world, although they're going to continue to lie to us, I feel like the Matrix is going to gain enough control to keep us all in our pods or in our 15-minute cities, or our electric cars will be turned off, or we need to get our bug rations for the week, so that there can't ever be enough true chaos for you to escape. There won't be true social mobility, and I feel like there's going to be a close. The people who are rich now, their bloodlines will be rich for a very long time. And the people who are poor now, if they don't get rich soon, in the next 10 years or so, they're never going to. You're never going to get rich. The prices of houses are going to continue to go up. Prices of land is going to continue to go up. Inflation is going to continue to happen. Your wages will not catch up. It's going to get harder and harder for the average person to ever stand a chance of owning any assets. Yeah, it's now or never. Yeah. It's almost impossible right now. How does the average person on an average wage buy a house in London right now? Yeah. It's almost impossible already. I think in the next 10 years, it's going to become truly impossible, and they're going to use AI to keep the gap closed. And what's interesting about that is, well, I'm in the rich team, I guess. But what I find most interesting about that is the socio ramifications of the fact that I think this is quite pertinent to most average people. I think most normal people understand. If you were to ask them, how's the economy? They'd say, well, it's impossible. I can't pay for my bills. I can't pay to eat. I can't afford a house. I can barely afford my mortgage. I'm never going to get rich this way. They understand all of this, but they're not panicking. Why are you not panicking? The Titanic just hit the iceberg. You may not be in the water yet, but it's a certainty. There's nowhere else to go. It's going to sink.
It's going to happen.
Panic now. Don't panic at the end with everyone else as they go into the icy depths. No, I would argue if I was on the Titanic and it got struck by the iceberg, I could have got a lifeboat nice and early. Now, I wouldn't have women and children first. I'm just using this as an example. Analogy.
I know where you're going with it.
I could have gone to the top deck when no one else was panicking and said, you know what? I want this. I want to go on a lifeboat. No, I don't feel comfortable on a lifeboat. And the guard probably would have said to me, you don't need to go on a lifeboat. It's no big deal. I said, yeah, but please just give me the lifeboat, or here's some money or whatever. I want this one. Give me this one. Everyone started panicking at the end, and there was no lifeboats left. And people are sitting here now going, oh yeah, the economy's bad, but maybe if we vote for this person, don't want to swear, it's wrong. Who are you going to vote for that's going to put money in your pocket actually come along and say, here's money? Nobody. You still got to pay your council tax. You're still a brokey. Nobody cares. No one you vote for is going to change it. It's going to get worse. It's going to continue. And you know the boat is going to sink, and you're not panicking. That's why I kind of catch myself. And one of the things I try very hard not to do is become elitist. Because when you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, and you've done it all off of your own back, and hard work and dedication, and never missing a day, the only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. One, because of compounding interest, and two, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. If you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time, and you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me, and that annoys me. And you catch yourself being very elitist. And this is what's scary about it, because I'm from a Luton council estate, and now I have all this money. But if I meet somebody who's truly broke, I'm not talking about you not have hundreds of millions, but if I meet somebody who's broke, I think they're an idiot. And I catch myself going, is that bad? Am I elitist? Or do I sit down now and I just say, no, I started lower than you and beat you. How are you poor? You're lazy.
Okay, fair enough. I was gonna say, why would you say if they're an idiot if you were once in that position as well?
No, I was, but I got out. And I think one of the there's only three reasons you can't get rich in the world today, which is either you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're arrogant. And I find the most common one is lazy and arrogant. It's not stupid. There's nobody at home who is too stupid to become rich. I'm sure anyone watching this podcast right now, if you were to sit down next to me and I were to say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, you could do it. Of course you could. But you're too lazy to learn how to do it yourself.
And you're too arrogant to listen.
And you're too arrogant to listen. It's not about being stupid. You're lazy or arrogant. It's one of the two. Those are the two most common factors of people. So when I meet people who have truly failed and they pretend to me that they didn't want to fail, I know they're one of the three. And it's usually arrogant. Because when I sit and say to them, you could have got out, they don't say, you're right, I could have got out, I didn't try. That shows humility. They don't do that. They say, no, because it's excuse, someone else's fault, the Matrix's fault, no self-accountability. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Arrogance.
Sounds like feminine mindset to me.
Well, yeah, exactly, and then they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I catch myself being elitist, and I try very hard not to be, because I don't consider myself a rich man. I'm a poor man with lots of money. And what's scary about being elitist is, if I'm from a Luton council estate, and I have a bunch of money now, and I see the common man as a lazy idiot, imagine how the elites see us. And then you start to really go down the rabbit hole when you understand these people who've been in charge of the world for a very long time, who own the banks, who believe they're genetically superior to us because why not? Their families always owned the bank. They can be a fat loser, but they just believe they're something because why not? They have a big boat. So that's just what they're going to believe, isn't it? Imagine how they view the common man. You think they give a shit about you or your family or your income or your wages? You think they care about you? You think they're going to make life easier for the common man in the next 10 years as you've just asked? Or are they going to continue to decimate your lifestyle for their own forever profit? There's no light without dark, which is a basic fundamental law of the universe which can't be broken. And especially as these large companies want forever profits, which they do, and they own everything. Like, I don't think many people understand. If you go into Sainsbury's and you look around at the brands, you will struggle to find 10 brands that aren't owned by the same company.
Yeah.
The whole thing's owned.
Yeah.
The same company that owns Sainsbury's owns every brand. They own everything. So if they want forever profits, which they do, they're not going to do that without
owning everything.
Well, and also, you have to take that money from somewhere. If they can make you poor so they can get richer, they will. If they own all the assets, they want inflation. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care you can't feed your family. Why would they? So, and you can also look at it from a global perspective, which is quite interesting, because America was built off the back of World War II. World War II made America rich. But Europe, for the longest time, got rich off the exploitation of second and third world nations. That's how it got rich, by building empires in Africa and Asia, etc.
Colonizing countries.
Yeah, colonizing countries. That's how they got rich. And now we have populations in Europe and in the West which are decadent, and we want high wages, and we want maternity leave, and we want holiday pay, and we want good working standards, and we want good working hours, and we want nice chairs to sit on. Now we're entitled. And if you're a company and you need slaves, do you want entitled slaves, or do you want slaves who are just going to do their job for low pay? And then you start to understand why immigration is being unchecked on purpose, so they can bring in people to try and work jobs for basically nothing, who don't want standard of living and don't want standard of work. And what they're effectively doing now is, instead of exploiting the second and third world to benefit Europe, the globalists are now decimating Europe on purpose so that they can live somewhere else. And okay, that's going to prop up the economies of the second and third world. So the whole thing is reversed. Instead of destroying the second and third world for the benefit of Europe, they're going to destroy Europe, and that's going to benefit the second and third world. But they're globalists and they don't care. All they care about is forever profits. They'll go live in Saudi. They'll go live in Mumbai. They don't care. They're not tied to the land or tied to the place like the average European is. So if you're the average man in a European country and you're not financially free and you're stuck somewhere in the middle, not only is your life going to get harder, but also the place you live in is going to get worse. Your wages are going to go down. Crime's going to increase. All of these things are going to happen so that the people in charge can get their forever profits and avoid all the mess they make. And it's all done purposefully. If I was an average person, I'd be genuinely afraid. I mean, it's easy for me because I have so much money. Okay, I'm currently restricted in Romania and I'm under a matrix attack and they'll put me in jail, blah, blah, blah. One day I'll get out and one day it will be over and I'll still be a millionaire and I can look at the map and go, where is safe? Tokyo, cool. Done. Most people can't do that. They can't do that. They're stuck. And the fact that that doesn't bother them or they don't panic, I find flabbergasting. I mean, the iceberg has struck the Titanic. How long can you have a border where people can arrive by dinghy and throw acid in people's face until your nation has fallen? How long will you allow this to happen until you realize it's done?
It's done.
It's done. And how long will you sit there and get hit by endless bills that continue, inflation that wrecks your currency, wages that don't increase, new taxes with ULEZ cameras, unchecked immigration for people who don't have a passport, crime rates increase. Bro, I said this to Tristan. We were saying how we miss England because we're English in our hearts and part of us miss it. And I was saying, you know what? If I lived in England, I couldn't even protect myself. I have guys here with guns because I'm currently on bail and I can't carry a gun. Otherwise, I'm strapped all the time. If you come to my house, there's a big gate and there's pit bulls and there's 4 guys with weapons, guns. You need SEAL Team 6 to get in my house. There's bulletproof doors and I have a gun next to my bed. I'm the final boss. It's gonna be a shootout. In England, I can have all the money in the world. I can go to Radlett. I was looking at a house in Radlett. I'll say it right now, it's 12 million pounds. It was gorgeous. And I thought, it's worth 20 million. For 12 million, it was worth it.
Bargain.
Yeah. And I was like, Tristan, if we bought this house, the problem is we couldn't even protect ourselves because eventually someone will work out it's our house.
It's just like all the footballers.
Of course.
All the footballers, when they go to play matches, they all get robbed.
Bro, eventually someone will work out it's our house. The only way you can protect yourself in the West now is to hide. I was like, we can buy this house, not put it in videos, not put it on social media, not invite girls over, because you know what will happen? You'll invite a girl over one day, and she'll say, I'm coming with my friend Lucy. Not from the BBC, a different one. But like, okay, Lucy, she comes. Lucy turns up. She's a 7. You don't talk to Lucy. Nobody likes Lucy. She sits around. She's a 7.
She sends the location to everyone.
She knows. Next weekend, she's out sniffing coke with some dickhead. And she's like, I was at Tate's house. No, you weren't. Yeah, I was at Tate. I was looking at this picture. Where was it? Here. Boom. Bam.
That's
now
it.
they now know where your house is.
Location's
they start
dropped.
talking about it. Mr. Bugatti, Mr. Diamond Watch. I'm sitting in my Radlett house. There's fucking 25 windows, 6 door entrances. I'm like, Tristan, we can't even hire armed guards. Who could we even hire to protect the house? I could come along with $1 million a month contract. I'd end up with G4S, some old man sitting in a little box. And when they rock up, 20 dudes with blades, it's over. You can't even be rich in England unless you want to hide.
Tell me this, yeah?
I wear a $400,000 watch in Bucharest, Romania. In London, I can't wear it. In London, I don't wear it. So we're talking about how the nation's failed. You could be rich in England and you're still not safe. You still have to pray they don't find you. You have to live like a hermit, like a cockroach under a rock and hide. Or maybe you get a chance to call the police before they chop your wife's hands off. Oh, that's great. That's how fallen this nation is. And there are people there with no money. They're not even rich like me. They have no money. And they're sitting there going, it'll be okay. Maybe if we get Rishi Sunak out and get another one in. No, it won't. No, it won't. It is a failed society. You need God. Revert to Islam and move to Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, none of that will happen to you.
This is what I was going to say. So tell me, picture this for me. Paint me this picture. The case was dropped. You're free to go wherever you want. You get on your private jet tomorrow. Where do you tell the pilot to go?
Well,
I'm talking about to reside, not just holiday.
Yeah, to reside.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's interesting because I really, truly believe the Western world has fallen now. And one of the things I prioritize now in my stage of life is safety. I don't see the point in anything if I'm going to end up killed. And if you're going to kill me, at least the Matrix has to kill me. At least make it a cool story. He was telling the truth. He did fun podcasts. They assassinated him. Make it good. I don't want to die because some idiot wanted my watch. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to die for that. And I feel like the whole Western world is that dangerous now. I make this clear. When I go to London, I'm probably the most nervous. I don't know how anyone lives in London without feeling nervous. I'm so nervous all the time. And it costs me such an exorbitant amount of money. If me, my brother, and a couple friends go to London, we'll jet from here, that's 50 grand. And then there's 4 of us, that's 4 rooms. And we want to stay in a 5-star hotel, so that's 2 grand a night. So that's 10 grand in hotels. And then I have my security team there, is 3 grand a day. So it's 13 or 14 grand a day in hotels and security, 50 grand to get in. Then I'll go shopping, of course, normal. But even when I'm walking around Harrods, my head's on a swivel. And I've got 3 dudes with me who are 6'8". And I'm still like, and then you'll hear about someone get robbed just outside Harrods while you're in Harrods. You're like, how do people live in this city? And they're just living there like, oh, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've never had that. This is the capital of the poorest nation in the European Union. I've never had any problems here. I drove a Bugatti around the streets. I parked my Ferrari on street corners. I wear a $400,000 watch. I've never had anything. Yes, I have security. Yes, I had armed guards. But for the years before that, I've never had any trouble.
What's interesting about it as well is that these things stand out from the crowd. Obviously, I've been here for a couple of nights now, and you don't ever see a Ferrari, Bugatti, Lamborghini, or anything like that. So when you see Tate in his Ferrari, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. If this was like London, your target, 100%.
Oh, bro, 100%. This is my point. Lucy would give the location up and I'd be a target and I'd be decimated. So how do you have a nation where you're not allowed to be wealthy without hiding? Where you can arrive without a passport? Where they can't catch people who decimate people's faces with corrosive substances? Where there's people in a room, those who are supposed to be designated towards enforcing law and justice, trying to put me in jail because I said women can't park. This whole thing is a clown show. This whole thing is a clown show. And only God can save us now, my friend. I don't know what the West is going to do. But this clown show is built on the back of the taxes of the hardworking average man. You're the average man. Not only is your life fucked, not only is your future fucked, not only are your children going to be finished, you're paying for this. You are paying for all of it. And then, if you ever get to a point of finance where you don't have to pay for it as much, or you can escape, one of your ex-girlfriends will call you up and demand money. And if you don't give it to her, you go to jail. What planet are we on? The Western world has fallen, and empires rise and empires fall. This is the cyclical nature of the universe. That's fine. But to sit and try and pretend it hasn't fallen is hubris. It's being an ostrich and sticking your head in the sand. And the smartest thing the average man can do is realize that yes, the Western world's fallen. And 2, you have 10 years to get into the higher class, the higher social mobility class, or you and your bloodline are eternally finished forever.
Yeah.
Which goes back to a point I said earlier. If I'll teach you how to make money online for $49 and you understand you have less than a decade to save your entire bloodline and you do not join, well, then you're a loser. And your great-grandchildren will wake up one day in their slave pods eating the cockroaches and they'll ask their mother, why was granddad a loser? Why didn't granddad try and save us? And you're going to have to sit there and come up with some answer for them. You're going to have to say, oh, well, he was busy.
Try and justify it somehow.
To justify it. He was busy. He was jerking off the Pornhub. Oh, he was busy. It was hard for him. It was a bad economic climate. Give a bunch of excuses to your bloodline as they continue to be slaves forever and washed my children's cars. Fine. But if you have a brain, you're going to understand you're running out of time. You're going to fix it. Especially if you understand the nation you're in is sinking. The Titanic you are on is about to sink. Everyone in England, it's done. It's over. It's done.
So where do you go?
Good question.
Before your arrest, you was in England, but before that, you was in Dubai for a few months, right?
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. And I guess that's one of the best things about being rich. And that's why these globalists will destroy nations for profit, because they don't care. Because in every nation, there'll still be a nice part, right? So a globalist can come and fly and land his private jet at a private airport, Biggin Hill. Doesn't even land at Heathrow. And he can go for 2 days and see Windsor Castle. And then he can get back on his jet, and then he can go to St. Moritz in Switzerland, and then he can go to Riyadh, and then he can go to Tokyo, and then he can go to Maldives. And that's a fun 3 months. You don't need a house. If you have a house, it's just to keep your clothes
Your
on.
house is your jet.
Your house is your jet. So things are different when you're rich. And also, since I've been raided 3 times now, and people I care about have been raided by the British police only a few days ago, and any address you have is only a target for the enemies. You don't own that address. Oh, this is my house. My house is my home. Bet it's not. Boosh! Please! What? Your house is your home. Muddy footprints everywhere, and they turn the whole place upside down. They search everything, and they go through all your private things, go through all your private stuff. And guess what they get to do after that? They steal everything they want. Steal this, steal that, steal. They just rob you.
Yeah.
So they come, they rob you. My house in Romania was robbed by the Romanian police. Houses in England are robbed by the English police. Why do I even want a house? You know what I want? I want a phone, a laptop, a backpack, a car, and a jet. I don't want a house anymore. So you're asking me where I'm gonna live. I don't know. Because now I don't feel comfortable owning a house. Because every single time I get a house, sooner or later, on a long enough time frame, friends come to visit, it seems. So I don't enjoy having a house anymore because that feeling of home, that feeling of security has been destroyed. The sanctity of a household has been destroyed for me so many times. I don't feel like I don't have the homey feeling. In fact, I feel most comfortable somewhere transient. I feel most comfortable in a hotel room. I look around and go, if the police kick this door in, they're gonna steal the coffee sachets, they're gonna steal the TV remote, and they're not mine. I don't care. My pillow, my bed, don't care.
So why don't you do?
So I don't want a house. I don't want to live anywhere anymore, which is kind of scary, but this ties into how the globalists think. They all think the same as me now. Why do I need a house? If we have a house, it's an investment. We won't buy a house to live in. We'll buy a house as part of a real estate fund. And we'll buy a house in the south of France for $26 million, and people will rent it off of us, and all the money will go up the chain through our various shell companies for our real estate funds so we can hold wealth and outpace inflation. We don't buy a house to live in. I live in 5 stars, and I'm gonna live in 5 stars forever because it allows me to, 1, be geographically free, and 2, further after me. Like it's
you
scary.
gotta go from bounce place
Where
to
do
place.
But you find safety in that, and I think so do the globalists, and so do the people at the top because they understand the Titanic is sinking. They're the same as me.
Do you feel like because they're after you, you have to bounce all the time so they can't get you?
I don't think it's just that. I think it's that when you understand how this world really works, and when money has no value to you anymore, and you're truly absolutely rich, you understand the advantage of not being geographically tied down. There are opportunities happening in Tokyo right now that people cannot take advantage of because they can't go to Tokyo, or they can't live in Tokyo, or they can't be in Tokyo. And it's the same in Kuala Lumpur, and it's the same in Mumbai, and the same in Dubai. When you have geographical freedom, you have a lot more opportunity, which is the first thing. Second thing, I would say it protects you to some degree. But thirdly, and most importantly, the reason the globalists do it is because they're destroying nations in real time and they don't care and they'll just go wherever it's safe. But for me, you're saying, where would I move on my jet once I'm free? I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna stay still probably. I don't know if I'm ever gonna have a house again. I don't see the point in having a home because home and the idea of home is that it's yours. And I have learned through experience that it's not yours. It's not mine. It's not yours. And anyone at home who thinks, oh, I got my house and I'm gonna work hard and pay my mortgage and I have my live, laugh, love thing and I have my sofa and I got my remote and I have my comfy chair. It ain't yours, bro. It's not yours.
You know what you should do? You've seen Air Drake, the plane that he's got, 787 full private jet, massive thing. Nice. That would be your house. That could be sick.
That would be nice, yeah. But then you kind of go deeper down the rabbit hole, which I always end up doing. They can seize jets, they can seize houses, they can seize. All you truly have is your soul and your state of mind. Like you don't have anything else. If you had a state of mind that meant you didn't fear jail, and you had a soul that meant you knew you were doing the right thing, that's the only way you're free. Not because you're stay out of jail. Staying out of jail doesn't make you free. Having a house you can hide in like a cockroach so the robbers or the government don't know where it is doesn't make you free. What makes you free is, I'm gonna tell the truth, and no matter what they do to me, I'm gonna be happy anyway. I'm happy in jail. I'm fine with jail. Put me in jail, and the prosecutors can all sit around and high-five each other. I don't care. You didn't win, because I'm happy anyway. I don't care. And I'm more famous than ever, so I still win. So that is freedom. Freedom, truthfully, is developing a mindset where the worst they can do to you doesn't hurt you, kill me then. Kill me. But I don't know where I'm going to go once I'm free. I have no idea. I don't know where I'm going to live once I'm free. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm going to live anywhere ever again. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just going to have to play it by ear, I guess. And I will say this, there is a strange sense of homelessness that I do feel. Because when your host nation, which I consider to be England, I'm part English, part American, but I left America when I was very young. I consider myself British. When your host nation attacks you and abandons you, it's a strange feeling. I want people at home to understand that. Imagine you were raised in England, you're British, you've spent your whole life watching Coronation Street and eating fish and chips and saying, you can't park there, mate, and everything else, like everyone else. And then, because you have a point of view, members of parliament, the BBC, which is state-sponsored media, the mainstream media establishment, everyone turns on you and starts saying you're the devil. And please understand, if I was telling kids to chop their dick off, I wouldn't be the devil, then I'd be celebrated. So if I was actually Satanist, if I was actually the devil, I'd be celebrated. And when you actually tell the good things and tell the truth, you're the bad guy. When your whole country, not a few people, turn on you, your whole country turns on you. It's kind of a sad feeling. Imagine all the times you had a best friend and they turned on you and started talking bad about you. Imagine how that made you feel a little bit. Imagine your nation doing it. Imagine your whole country turning on you. And it's kind of crazy because if I was from Azerbaijan and I was this famous and this influential and this many people listened to me, I'd be royalty. I'd be hanging around with the president. And they'd say, good job. Yeah, you did great for Azerbaijan. Thanks for telling the truth. But because I'm from England, and England is run by Satanists, it seems, and they're not a Christian nation anymore, it seems, because everything I'm preaching is Christian values. What am I saying? Work hard, dedicate yourself, don't give up, don't listen to the garbage slave program. Yeah, it's all the holy books. This Christian nation is so threatened by me that they've completely turned on me and have instructed prosecutors to try and destroy my life. It's a very strange feeling, and it does make you feel sad. The same as losing a best friend. Losing your country makes you feel sad. Because Romania was my adopted home. They've done to me what they've done to me. We can go down the rabbit hole as to whether they were inspired by the Americans and British or if they did it themselves. That's one conversation which I can't have yet. The other conversation is whether I stand a fairer chance in a Romanian court because it's less politically charged than an English court.
Quick question there off that. Though you said you can't have the conversation yet, do you know the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
So Romania was my host nation, but this has happened to me here. Okay, so you have a strange longing for home, but if your home is run by psychopaths who hate you ideologically, what do you do? It's really weird. I can't explain. It's a strange feeling of homelessness to be super rich and can go anywhere, but you have no home. And every house you've ever bought and tried to turn into a home has been decimated by law enforcement. Imagine it. Every time you go and you set up a little house somewhere else, you're like a refugee. You're like a refugee. Your nation hates you. You're a refugee. Your nation hates you. They attack you. You know you've done nothing wrong. But you say, okay, I'll go, I'll move, and I'll start a little house over here, and I'll have a woman, I'll have kids, I'll have a family. My children live here. Boom, get on the ground, please. Okay, let me go over here with my family, my kids. Let me put my kids here.
Same thing.
Get on the ground, get it. Like, bro, what the fuck am I supposed to do with my life now? It's scary. And then you could say, go, well, do I just shut up so they'll stop doing this to me? Or do I just continue to talk so I can tell everybody that they're going to do it to all of us? And that's the real question. I kind of feel like the men who avoid war think that war will end. But no, you just ensure your decimation and extermination. If you avoid to fight, if you wake up and say, I refuse to fight, you don't end the wars. You just make sure you lose. That's the difference. This war is coming for everybody. If they don't do this to me, they'll do this to someone else. In fact, they're probably doing it to many other people right now. I'm just the one with the biggest voice. So the reason I allow this to keep happening to me is because I understand that if I shut up, I don't stop it happening. Even if I stop it happening to me, maybe, I don't stop it happening as a whole. It's going to happen to anybody who tells the truth. Anybody who speaks up and has a large enough platform. Your ability to speak freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. Don't forget that. It's very important. And that's why I feel like instead of cowering out, I need to highlight it. And I feel bad not for me. I feel bad for the mothers of my children. I feel bad for my 3-year-old kids. I feel bad for them. They're the ones I feel bad for. I'm a man. I'm a man. Put a gun in my face. I'm a man. Kids and women. These are innocent bystanders dragged to jail cells by prosecutors for justice. This is the angle for the good guys. The good guys, right?
This is the angle I'm looking at because it's like you are the man that they're coming after, but they're the ones that are also going to have to face the...
Well, here's the thing that's so interesting, right? Because that's the attack vectors of a powerful man has always been the same thing. When we said earlier about why rich men get in trouble, and I said girls, attack vectors will always be identified by your enemies, and the primary attack vector for any enemy is a girl. Give me an example. Story we just told earlier about Lucy at my house. How did the bad guys with the machetes find out where my house was? A girl. If I have enemies who want me dead, let's say I've annoyed the Turks and I'm in London, I know how to not get caught. But the girl with her Instagram story, with the corner of the napkin, didn't know. Now I'm toast.
Right.
She tits a selfie up in the hotel. They recognized the hotel. Now they're waiting outside. Toast. If I had to catch and find someone, and he knew I was after him, I'd just find who his girls are. Who's he fucking? Follow them. And
Yeah, it's easy.
bro, it's easy. It's so easy because women have no OPSEC.
It's funny because I've seen it firsthand as well.
Bro, they care more about their Instagram likes than your life.
Yep.
That woman you're in love with, that woman you'll do anything for, cares more about getting likes on her Instagram than you getting stabbed to death. Because if you say to her, don't post that, there's people after me. Well, it's just a picture. I'm gonna get my likes. Likes aren't even money. They're not even money. We mean likes.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? They're gonna kill me. Oh, but it's a coffee cup. It's cute, bro. And you're in love with her. And when you die, 6 months later, she'll be in my brother's bed, bro. Wake up, wake up. But women are the attack vector. So it's also the same with law enforcement. Andrew Tate is a bad man, but he's smart and he's sharp. And he's got all his things in order, and we can't pin him down. Not because I'm bad, because I'm innocent. They don't believe that. They believe I'm just that good. I am that good, but I'm also innocent. So what do? Let's drag the women in here. Let's threaten the women. Let's sit his wife down, or one of his wives, or one of his girlfriends, and let's start telling her how often he cheats on her. Let's start showing her pictures of him with other women.
Let's try and manipulate her.
Let's show her, let's lover boy method her.
They're hypocrites.
Let's sit her down and be nice to her and try and convince her to do something. So they're hypocrites because they do lover boy method. This crime. They sit your girlfriend down and say, you were with him on the 10th of February. You know on the 11th of February he was fucking this girl? Boom. You know he bought this girl this? Boom. You know this? Boom. And they just sit there like snakes and rats and just say, he's a cheater, he's bad. What's he ever done to you? And she'll be like, well, nothing. Okay, but does he ask you where you go? Yeah, if I go out, he asks me where I go. Okay, controlling behavior, manipulative. Boom. Bro, they just fucking make it up. So women are the attack vector. So how do you avoid this attack vector? Well, be gay. Have no kids? Die alone? Well, you can't. So you have to have women around you. Especially when you're rich, you're gonna have a bunch of beautiful women around you. So they're the attack vector for your enemies, for the law enforcement, for everything. So the women who are around me, yeah, they get caught up in the crossfire because that's how the enemy is going to try and get to me, whether it's the bad guys trying to kill me or the law enforcement. And I have to say to my women, listen, there's no light without dark. You fly on private jets and you get to drive around in my Bugatti and you get to stay in 5-star hotels and you get to go for golden facials that are 6,000 pounds of Harrods a day. You get all of that, yes. And sometimes these idiots are gonna drag you down to a police station and say, why does he give you so much money? And you're gonna have to explain to them, my facials are expensive. What do you want me to do about it? That's the game. But the fact that these evil people think they're doing good, dragging women into rooms and wrecking their lives, is crazy. But if you look at the biggest, most heinous acts ever done in humanity, it was by people who thought they did good. And this is where we go back into feedback. Because if I was a police officer, if I was a prosecutor, I would have enough cognitive ability to sit and say, am I the good guy here? Am I actually the good guy? No, I'm the police. That's Matrix mind. That's clown world. Actually use my brain. I'm dragging innocent people into rooms. I'm putting innocent people in jail. I'm questioning innocent women who are just getting presents from their boyfriend. I'm fucking with this guy who's never hurt me in my life ever. And they've already been fucked with by the Romanian government. He's clearly innocent because they're about to let him out and he's not in jail anymore. What am I doing? Okay, I'm getting my wage, but what am I doing? Am I fighting the good fight here? But they don't even have enough feedback, enough self-analysis, or they're so arrogant that they'll look in the mirror and they'll put on their shirt every day. Yep, police. I'm the police. You're a dummy. You're the police. Go catch the guy who put acid in people's face. What do you mean you're the police? You dumbass. Yeah. You put fucking my baby mama in jail. Bro, clown world. Clown world. We live in a joke. We live in a clown world. I don't think people understand that every single thing that you believe in at home, the medical system, the judicial system, the financial system, the educational system, you name a system, it's a joke. The shit they teach in school's a joke. The money's not real. Law's not real. It's all a big clown show. It's a circus. All of it. And they're the things you rely on. You need these things. You need them to educate your kids. You need the money to be worth something. You need the law to be fair. And it's all a scam. All of it's a scam.
It's like life as we know it is a scam.
It's a scam. And then you sit down and go, okay, well, if that's true, what do we have left? What do we do, Andrew? And I go back to my original answer. You need brothers who will die beside you, because that's all life's ever been. When things get hard, and when I say hard, I mean really hard, the best thing you're gonna have is a brother who will die beside you. Your woman can give you emotional support, but she can't do much else. When things get difficult, women often become a burden. If you're walking down the street and a terrorist attack happens, heaven forbid, you'll wish you weren't with a chick. Because being with a chick now, come on, let's go, go! And you have to carry her, right? Because they're slow and they're like, oh, my heels, and they're a fucking nightmare. You have to look after them. If you're with your boy, bro, shit, you feel better.
Yeah.
You feel better.
Straight on site.
You're on site, yeah. Men help you. When things get hard, men around you are going to be your number one asset. It's always been that way. When the horde arrived at Vienna, it was brothers with swords who were ready to die by each other that defended the city, and vice versa to attack the city. That's what you're always going to need. Women may be able to say to you, good job, keep going, but they can't do much else. And in the hardest times, you don't have time for motivation. You're motivated by self-instinct and self-preservation. So you can deal with all that crap afterwards. So if you're a man and your primary friend, your best friend, or the person you're relying on the most, you spend most of your time with is your chick, that's fine. But you're gonna regret that when things get hard because you don't have any real backup. I spend most of my time with my guys. And I love my women with all my heart, but my team comes first because they're the ones who will save me. They're the only ones who can save me if I really need saving.
Push comes to shove.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So brotherhood's the most important thing. And money's another important thing like I talked about. But I don't know. It's how do you in this clown world, how do you survive? Like I said earlier, you need the brotherhood because of the reasons I just gave, and you need to have money to get on the highest socioeconomic ladder, and you need God. And besides those three things, I can't find another answer for it because every time I've ever tried to rely on the education system, the financial system, the judicial system, every time they failed me. Every time I've learned what it is. You know what most people don't understand? All of these things, all the systems I've just named, the medical system, we just learned what scam that was. Get your 9th booster. Clown world. All of these things are just people walking into a room and saying things. And people are fallible. Think how many people you know who are idiots. Cool. That's those people who you think are idiots are the systems I just described.
Yep.
The education system is just someone standing there talking. The judicial system is someone standing there talking. The medical system is someone standing there talking. Just idiots walk into rooms. They've got a badge. The justice system, the police, the prosecutor, who doesn't realize he's doing no good for anybody, that he believes fallacies, that he's destroying people's lives, and he's not a good person. He's actually the bad guy in this story. He's actually the bad guy in this story. Without enough self-awareness, look in the mirror and go, I'm a fuck up. He's gonna sit there and go, I'm the good guy, I got this badge.
Yeah, but that's just ego.
They're just idiot dummies. And then they're gonna sit there and go, oh no, we live in a fair world and the law is fair and school's good. They're dummies, bro. What's even scarier is, all of these people are not only fallible, but they're very human. And what scares me about the moral decay of the world is that all of these people are involved in the moral decay. So, for example, as certain ideas, let's take one that's a bit vanilla so this podcast doesn't get banned. I could choose one of 20. I'm gonna choose vanilla. Pornography. It's vanilla. As pornography becomes prevalent, I don't care because I don't watch pornography. I don't watch porn. Why would I? I ain't even got time to service my women as it is. I'm busy. So the last thing I have time for is that garbage. But then most people don't sit and go, oh, but that means your judge watches a bunch of porn, your lawyer watches a bunch of porn, teacher of your kids watches a bunch of porn, police officer who's arresting you for being a bad person who was jerking off last night to a bunch of porn. All these people who you need to rely on, who are authority and strong, moral, upstanding characters, and Mr. Dickhead with his badge.
They're all a bunch of wankers.
They're all a bunch of wankers. Correct. That's it. And you can take that, you can take porn, then you can take swinging, or you take homosexuality, or you take all these things, or this sexual, all this moral degradation has infected our institutions, right? So you'll stand there in front of a judge, and the judge watches porn, and his wife gets banged by his best friend because they're swingers, and he cross-dresses, and they just sit there, and Judge Honorable, go to jail. Bro, it's fucking scary. It's all fucked. It's all fucked.
Yeah, that is a scary
world.
It's fucked,
bro. It's fucked. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, and I know that all this shit crosses my mind. So when you remove God from society, you live in godless societies. Yeah, you have the moral degradation, but it doesn't just destroy the populace, it destroys the institutions of the populace. That's the worst thing about it. And now we're living in a society which is so brutally corrupt to the core. The World Health Organization says I need 10 injections of poison, otherwise I'm gonna die. And all of them jerk off all day. Every night they jerk off. Bro, they do these World Economic Forum, Davos shit. All these people who are in charge of the world. Mm-hmm. They all go to Switzerland.
Yep.
I saw something on Twitter. On the days where everyone flies in for these global economic summits, all the world leaders, etc., the local hooker and strip club are booked out. You can't get a hooker on those days because they're all booked in advance. So the people who are deciding what's happening with you are booking orgies. And all their orgies are organized. The people who call me a human trafficker are going to fuck young girls who are sexually abused for money. And I'm a human trafficker. And it's just like, what clown planet are we on? The best hope you have is to believe in God and find some degree of religious ideology amongst the everyday life. That's the best hope you have, is to find a society where people are afraid of God. Because the idea that the people who are in charge of the world, who told the media machine to convince everyone at home I'm a human trafficker to put me in jail, then all fly and have a big conference to talk about inflating the currency on purpose so they can make everybody a slave, and then they book out prostitutes who were probably touched as kids, and then they fuck them in massive orgies doing God knows what, and I'm the bad guy, and this is all supposed to be okay, and it's all acceptable, and if I mention it, Mr. Plod, the police officer who also jerks off the Pornhub, is after me with his other prosecutors who all jerk off in the room. It's just like, bro, the world's a mess. The world's a mess. It's a mess. I don't have the answer to these things besides brotherhood and money. If you have brothers you can rely on of strong, upstanding character, and you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you believe in God, like me, you can resist. I'm not winning.
Aikido.
I'm not winning. I'm just good at getting hit. That's all it is. I'm not beating these people. I'm not stopping them coming into my house. I'm not stopping them arresting me. I'm not stopping them locking up my baby mama. All I'm doing is I'm good at getting punched in the face and smiling. I'm good at getting hit. I become tough. That's it. If you get these things, you can resist the oppression with your Aikido. You can take a shot and you can smile back. But that's the best you can hope for. If you haven't got those things, as soon as you get hit once, you're out. And it's done. It's over. And then we go deeper down the rabbit hole. Because deeper down the rabbit hole is, then you learn. One of the biggest things the Matrix tried to do is when they try to isolate you, most people don't understand the effect these kind of Matrix attacks have on the average man's relationships with people. If you're a man with a normal job, and you're doing the normal thing, and you're in the middle, and you're following your job, and you get caught up in some bullshit or whatever, or you tell too much truth and you lose your job. When you lose your job, you only have 2 months until you lose your marriage unless you get another job. You're gonna lose your wife, you're gonna lose your kids.
They're gonna make your whole life fall apart.
100%. When you go to jail, I heard it on the jail phone. Number one argument I heard on the phone in jail was women yelling at their men, how am I supposed to pay the bills? Because women are self-interested. Women are survivors. Me. They're selfish.
Yep.
You're in jail. How do I pay the bills? And the man's like, yeah, I'm in jail. What do you want me to do about it? Well, you're always hanging out with your friends on the street corner and that's why you're in jail. That's not why I'm in jail. That's nothing to do with it. You've made that up. Well, I can't pay the bills. Then 6 months later, she's fucking someone else and he kills himself. That's what happens, right? So deeper down the rabbit hole is, not only does the Matrix try and destroy you financially, destroy your influence, destroy your reputation, but they also understand that they do this to you heavily enough.
It trickles down in every single aspect of your life.
I'm fortunate because of my brutal competence and because I'm so charming and lovely and I've got a Long Johnson, that my women have dedicated themselves to me for life. That puts me in a very fortunate situation. Most men are not in that situation, which actually ties back. I wonder if PC Plod works this out. If I understand that I'm going to be under matrix attack for the rest of my human years, and the chance of me going to jail is 100%, and I can't resist the forces of evil, I'm just good enough at getting hit that I can stay standing because my Aikido is masterful, and I find a woman I'm truly in love with, why the fuck would I not buy her golden facials, dipshit? Duh! Duh! That's what I'm... Duh!
Case solved.
Yeah, duh! Of course! Because she waits for me if I go to jail. Mind blown. Bro, clown world. So if you're a man and you're out there, please understand, if you have a strong brotherhood and you go to jail, you can send your brother over to your wife and he can lend her money and he ain't gonna fuck her and he's gonna check on her.
Because he knows what brotherhood is.
Because he knows what brotherhood is, and he's gonna check on the kid, and there's gonna be a man they can call if there's trouble, and he's gonna pay the rent, and he's gonna make sure she doesn't do anything stupid either. She ain't gonna be able to cheat or run around because he's around. Everything's under control.
Yep.
If you have money, once again, you can take care of your problems. But if you're a normal dude and you get hit, you get punched, you can't do like me. You can't come on a podcast and make fun of these people and laugh it off. Once they hit you, you're toast. Your chick's leaving you, you're losing your kids, you're losing your house, you're losing your job, you're losing it, you're done, bruv. Done. And you ain't getting back up. You're getting knocked out and you're not getting back up. So while you're standing, if you're not preparing yourself for this, you're a fool. You're a fool. Everything I've just told you about the world is completely true and you know it. So after all of this talking, if you don't have the motivation to get rich still, then you're born to lose. You're just born to lose. Then I don't know what to say to you. Wash my car.
Goes back to that.
Wash my car. I don't know what else to say to you. Go wash it. Because you're a fucking loser.
Andrew, I know you spent your time in jail reading the Quran, right?
Correct.
I want to know, did you ever get time to read in stories of the prophets?
You know what I found most interesting about the Quran?
You'll see what I'm tying into in a second. Go on.
I don't want to get this wrong. I'd hate getting things like this wrong. But I think it says day 365 times, or days 365 times, and day 30 times as many as there is in a month. And it says month 12 times. And there was all these language patterns inside of it, which it's incredible.
One of the miracles I find fascinating is Allah mentions in the Quran, you know, the ratio of land and water is 71% water, and I think 71%, and the rest of it is land. God mentions in the Quran, it's that exact ratio. Land is mentioned X amount of times, and water is mentioned X amount of times. It gives you the exact same ratio as it is.
And it was recited over 20-something years or something. It's completely incredible. Even to remember to use the word month only 12 times across 20-something years of recitement, 26 or 29 years. It's incredible to me.
So, but what I was going to ask is, with things that the Prophet said back in the day, you know, there will be a time where all these agendas are taking place, and people at the time would be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, nah, man, can't be the case. You know, you got LGBT and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, at the time, that seemed absurd. So do you look at it now with, obviously, life you've experienced and think, he's right?
Oh, no, absolutely he's right. And
you see it probably more firsthand than any of us.
The problem is,
I'm talking about people selling their soul. I'm talking about all of it.
So first, let's talk about me selling my soul, because I want to make this very clear. I keep saying this, and I want people to know at home how this works. I was offered to sell my soul. So let me explain to everyone at home exactly how this works. You don't become the most Googled man on earth without them trying to control what you say. The reason all these stupid superstars say the same garbage and don't speak out against injustice and didn't speak out against COVID and don't tell the truth about anything and don't have any interesting opinions that could actually save people from slavery is because they've sold their souls. And typically you have to sell your souls to become famous. You sell your soul on the ascent, and they won't allow you to become famous unless you do that. I broke the matrix. So once I was already famous, they wanted to control what I said. And it's very simple how it works. They come to you with a sponsorship contract for a large company. And that large company will offer you, let's say hypothetically, let's imagine there's a guy called Top G, and imagine they will offer him 50 million. And they will say, you will take 50 million, but to make sure the brand is represented well, you're gonna wear certain clothes, you're gonna dress a certain way, and you're going to have certain opinions. You're not going to talk about this. You're not going to talk about that. You're not going to talk about this. If you're asked about Israel-Palestine, you're on this team. And if you're asked about transgenders, you're on this team. If you're asked about things, you change your opinion, and you have to have all these opinions to represent the brand under the brand integrity guidelines. And the good thing about this sponsorship contract is, us as a brand, we spend huge amounts of money advertising in these particular media outlets, which means the media will talk good about you. They'll stop lying about you. They'll stop telling the world you're bad. They'll protect you because they can't insult you because we pay for them via advertising. So what they're basically saying is, we'll get the media to stop talking bad about you. We'll give you a bunch of money and you'll say what we want you to say, and you become a puppet and a mouthpiece for the Matrix.
So they didn't say this directly, though, did they?
They told me I would have a sponsorship contract. They told me I would have certain opinions to protect the brand integrity guidelines. They told me that I would have favorable reviews, favorable outcome from the media because they sponsor the media outlets. So that's what they say. And they offer you the contract, and you can say yes or no.
So how do you know that that was a form of selling your soul, as opposed to that just being a sponsorship deal, big money? Obviously, they want to protect their brand. So when I say sell your soul, I'm talking about literally selling it to the devil.
Oh, okay. Literally sitting here in front of millions of people and telling everyone it's okay to be transgender. Isn't that selling my soul? Whether I do it for a company or for the devil?
No, it is, yeah, it is.
It's selling my soul. And they tried to get me to sell my soul. When I said no is when I started saying on podcasts, I'm going to go to jail. And guess what happened?
So this was a while ago then?
Yeah, it was a while ago, yeah. Because the only way they got away with the insanity of putting me in jail for no reason was after they spun up the media machine to convince people I'm a bad person first. If everyone didn't think I was a bad person, you can't just throw me in jail because everyone would riot and be like, what is this garbage? So they have to use the media machine to lie to you. So once the media machine started kicking into gear, once I declined their offer, I knew what was gonna come. I knew it. So that's how selling your soul works. And I want everyone at home to also understand, 99% of them have sold their soul. And you need to sit as a human at home and say, am I gonna idolize someone? Am I gonna support someone? Am I gonna respect someone who has sold their soul to the devil, who will tell my children bad ideas, who will ruin my family because I like their music? I mean, they don't care about you. Do you care about them? Please understand, all of the artists you listen to, all those people on Spotify, all those actors you like, all those sports stars, all those Instagram influencers, all those garbage people you follow have sold their souls. All of them. All. And they have done it for their own personal gain, so they can make millions, and they don't care how they damage society by extension. And you are society. So they have decided to damage you to benefit them. Why are you following them? Why are you going to their football games? Why are you watching their music videos? Why are you going to their concerts? Why are you supporting the people who have sold you out? Because they all have. I want to make this, I'm saying this now.
Agree with you
I'm
completely.
the only one they're putting in jail. I'm the only one they're putting in jail. They've all sold you out. If I would have taken that contract, I would have never gone to jail. I would never be labeled a human trafficker. I would never have the bad press. I'd have 50 million extra pounds. I would not have lost 25 million in legal fees so far. My life would be objectively better. My children would be safer. My women wouldn't have their houses raided. All of that, if only I had taken the money. But I didn't.
Do you think once someone sells their soul, they can't get it back?
Absolutely. Once I mean, maybe perhaps you can try and reverse the bad you did, perhaps. But the scary thing about all of this is, once you sell your soul, that's only the beginning. So let's say I said yes. Then I would be invited to a party, which I'd have to go to, part of my contract.
Are you talking about a party on like a private island sort of thing?
Perhaps. Or a party where something happens. And I was there at the time. And there's footage of me there at the time. Something happened and I had to go as part of my contract. And then I'm not told not to tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. And I don't tell anyone because I'm not supposed to and I don't want to get in trouble. But now I have a secret I'm harboring and they know I have it and they're holding it against me and they can blackmail me. And then I get invited to go somewhere else. Do you understand? That's the beginning of it. That's the beginning, my friend. And then you're so far down the rabbit hole that you know the truth. And now, even if you want to tell the truth, how do you redeem yourself? They'll kill you.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll kill you.
When I look at it in the likes of that.
Anyone who's brave enough to face execution to tell the truth is the kind of person who would have been brave enough to say no at the beginning, like me. I'm the kind of person who would tell the truth and get killed. But I'm also the kind of person who would never get there. That's the point. Anyone who ends up there is a fucking coward. And you're sitting at home, jerking off to the Super Bowl's halftime show like a dummy and going to concerts when they're in town. Yay! They're supporting the people who have sold you out like a fool. Because they all have. They all have. Because if the celebrities with massive voices told the truth, which they know to be true, about economics,
they'll all have cases.
About finance, they'd all be fucked.
Yeah.
They'd all be fucked. How do they get away with doing what they get away with? How am I a human trafficker and these rappers get to run around with endless ratchet chicks and nothing happens? Explain that.
It's interesting because I was speaking to someone who knows someone who's actually sold their soul, right? And this person was saying people sell their soul for different reasons, or they have sell their souls for different agendas. For example, you might have this group of rappers constantly talking about sex and drugs, and you might have this other person constantly pushing the whole, agendas of society, and all this. They literally just target people. Okay, what can we do with this person? What can we do with this person? What can we do with this person?
Well, yeah, they'll go to a rap group and they'll say, we think that your songs about sex and drugs sell the most. So here's your record contract, but you need to sing about sex and drugs.
Yeah, literally.
Done. Done. Just like they'll go to these streamers and say, you have to gamble on stream for kids to watch. Here's your money. There's a bunch of different ways they do it to degrade society. The reason they hate me is the same reason they hate Trump. Because no one owns us and we have our own money. And they can't buy us. And they're trying and we say no. And it makes them mad because they just use money and buy everybody because everyone's a selfish idiot with no morality who wants cash. I say I have enough money. You could offer me $1 billion right now to say something I don't want to say, and I'd say no. And they are flabbergasted by that. And it angers them to their core because that's the one tool they've used their entire life to manipulate not only people, the world. They use money to influence the world. We give money to the newspaper to print that COVID is dangerous so that people will buy stock in the pharmaceutical company that we own because they have to have the vaccine. They control everything with money. So when they say, here, do this, and you say no, they're like, what the fuck? No. Woo. Prosecutor. Get him. Human trafficker. Human trafficker, you just had an orgy at Davos. You just had a fucking orgy. Yeah. And then PC Plod, police officer, I'm a good guy. Bro, dummies. Bro, it's crazy. But I have a dream. And my dream is that people wake up and realize all these celebrities hate me. Why do I follow any of them? Why do I talk to any of them? Why do I absorb any of their content? Why do I negotiate with any of them? Because they hate you. And you need to at least have enough self-respect to say, well, if they hate me, I'm just not going to support them. You know?
There is one point there that you said that I will, not say I'll disagree with, but I want to counter it, yeah? Sure. So you said, Trump is free as well. And for the same reason why they don't like you is why they don't like him. Yeah. I'd argue one thing there.
Yep.
He was once a president. I'm under the belief, and once again it's a conspiracy, that at the cost of you being president is also a sales transaction. Okay. So I would say that Trump did sell his soul. Or what do you think?
I would argue that, and I'll tell you what I think happened. Trump was like me. I got famous and I wasn't supposed to. All the traditional blocks that prevent you from getting famous, I bypassed. You need to have a sponsorship contract. You need to have a contract that allows them to put you in movies. You need to have a contract that allows them to play your song on the radio. You need to get interviews with mainstream media where they ask you nice questions. You need to do all this garbage to get famous. I bypassed that, and I can prove it because I got famous via social media. So famous, in fact, that as you correctly said earlier, TikTok has invented brand new algorithms and built brand new detection software to make sure that nobody can do it again. I was a black swan event, and they said, oh, this person got famous and jumped over all our fences, and now he's telling the truth. So we need taller fences. So now, anytime we decide to ban someone, we can ban their voice, we can ban people talking about them, we can ban a picture of them, we can ban any videos of them, we can ban a cartoon that looks like him, and then we'll ban the account with AI. People spent a year building brand new AI technology because of me. Because of me, to make sure that nobody can do it again. They don't want anyone to do it ever again. Trump was the same. Nobody expected him to win. He wasn't supposed to win. The day before the election, they said that Hillary Clinton had a 99% chance to win. And they thought, well, we'll use the mainstream media machine. And we'll tell everyone at home that Trump doesn't stand a chance. Don't waste your vote. And that Hillary's going to win. First woman president. She's the best. She's great. And we're going to just psyop everyone. And then Trump won. And they're like, oh, We
what do
need
we do
higher
now?
fences. And then Biden won. Who voted for Joe Biden? No one. I'm going to jail, but it's true. So they just thought, higher fences, let's just rig it. He didn't sell his soul. He came into power. And once he was in power, they used a media machine, which is what they do, using money, to convince the world he was racist, start riots, Black Lives Matter, burn everything down. He works for Russia, garbage, he's a bad person, accuse him of rape, accuse him of all the same things they've accused me of, attack him, his presidency's up, fuck him off. He just lost in court last week. He owes that woman $90 million. A woman said, Trump raped me. I don't remember when, I don't remember where. The same woman has written a book about how rape is sexy. He said, that bitch is crazy. They found him innocent of the rape and found him guilty of defamation for calling her crazy. And he must pay her $90 million. Matrix attack, the law, the judge, the law, fair, the law. $90 million. Make that make sense to me.
That makes no sense at all.
This is my exact point. You upset the Matrix, they come for you. Lawfare. So he was a black swan event like me. They tried to buy him, he wouldn't sell. Now they're going to try and destroy him. Now they're trying to take all his money off him and do anything it takes to stop him being president again. I don't know what fences they've raised. I don't know what they've got planned. But if they think they're going to run old Joe Biden against Trump and he's going to win fair and square, you must be out your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Something's going on. And they've got plans against me. So they've made new AI fences so no one gets famous again without signing that contract. Because what should have happened to me is when I was at 20% of my influence, I was offered that contract. And then if I get bigger, I'm saying the right things. And then I also need the money. When I'm smaller, 50 mil was big money to me then.
Yeah.
Now 50 mil is like, what, a month's money? Who cares? I don't care. I don't want it. So that's
crazy,
the whole point. So Trump wasn't a sellout. Let me give you a very simple rule to the world. Anyone they tell you about is a bad guy is a good guy. And anyone they tell you is a good guy
Is a sellout.
is a sellout and a bad guy. You can't go wrong if you go through the world that way. They're saying he's the good one. He's not. They're saying he's the bad one. He's the good one. And I guarantee 9 times out of fucking 10, you're going to be correct. That's how messed up this world is. It's genuinely inverse.
Yeah, it's fucked up world.
It's inversed. So I was a black swan event. Trump was a black swan event. We can't be bought. And that's why they're trying to destroy us. As simple as that. Because the demons operate in the dark. Demons need lies. Demons can't do their job in the light. And the light is truth. God is light. God is truth. If you tell the truth, if we have a battlefield, a playing field of truth, they can't do their snakery and their lies. They need deception. They require deception. That's not a man, that's a woman. The sky is green. They need all this garbage so that they can keep you in your slave box. If you knew the truth, bro, if people at home knew how money worked, the banks would be on fire tomorrow. They don't know. And the worst thing is, they don't even want to go and learn.
Andrew, what would you say to this, yeah? As we wrap up this podcast, I want to ask you this question. Let's just say the Matrix do pull their third strike on you, and they succeed. How do you want the world to remember you, and what's the impact you want to leave on people?
I feel like I've lived a good life. I'm 37, and I would argue that I've lived more life than most 100-year-old men. I've done everything, been everywhere. I've made a mark, made an impact. What's life for? Well, life's to have children and to leave an impact and to teach your children things. Bunch of kids, done my job. So I don't want anyone to think I'm sad about it. It was a decision I made. I feel like as a man, you should always live for something bigger than yourself. I feel like that the true masculine imperative is to find a battle worth fighting for. That's why men have always gone to war, and some men died. That's how it's always been for men. As a man, your life shouldn't be about quantity, it should be about quality. And trying to live as long as possible, but being that porridge goo in the middle is not as important as living a shorter amount of time and getting to be the T-bone steak. So I want people to understand that I believed I was doing the right thing, and I'm not a perfect person, and perhaps I made some mistakes, but I believed I was doing the right thing at the time, and that I don't have any regrets about it, and that I would like people to learn from my example and live true to themselves. And I think that the world can be a beautiful place when you're true to yourself. I really think that a lot of depression and a lot of sadness and a lot of discontentment with consciousness comes from the very simple fact that most men are not true to themselves. And when I say that, I mean, I can say this in a funny way, or I can say this in a serious way. I'm going to choose.
Give us both.
All right, let me choose funny first.
Go on.
You want to fuck a bitch? Fuck a bitch, bro. I love her. I love my girlfriend with all my heart. Yeah, I want to fuck her today. And I fucked her. Boom. I don't love her. I love you. I fucked her. Sorry. Now I can pretend I'm not supposed to want to do that. I can pretend I don't want to do it. I can listen to my woman tell me that's wrong, and then be told I'm immature and all this crap. I want to do what I want to do. If I want to tell a man to go away in a less polite way, I'll do it. If I want to fire a member of staff, I'll fire them on the spot. I don't care. Because I know if I don't do what I want, the resentment inside of me eats away at me. And most men are living lives not doing what they want. Please understand. They don't get to talk to the girls they want to talk to because they're not important enough. They don't get to hang around with the guys as often as they want because they have to work a job they don't like doing. They don't get to tell their woman to be quiet because she'll leave him. He doesn't get to tell his boss to go away because he'll get fired. He just sits in his car, quiet and meek, filled with rage. And the best thing about being rich and important, and I guess the truest way to be happy as a man, is to be true to yourself, which is good and bad. I get to give to charity. I have a charity, tatepledge.com, and I donate millions of dollars a year to charity and feed children. I love my kids. I love my friends. I love the people around me. And if I don't like someone, I tell them to get fucked. And I say it right to their face, in their eye. And if they want to do something about it, it's up to them. And I'm prepared for that too. And I get to live true to my masculine imperatives in all ways. I don't have to sit and be fake or lie or get along with someone.
You keep it real.
I keep it real. And that is why so many men are unhappy today. They don't get to keep it real. Bro, you know what I find truly amazing? There are men out there who are afraid to tell their own woman, leave me alone, I'm busy. Because she'll give him headache. Don't talk to me that way. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, babe, please let me just work now. No, I'm working. Leave me alone. I love you very much, but I'm working. Leave me alone. There are men who don't even get to be a man in their own house. They don't even get to be a man in their own house. No wonder you're depressed. No wonder you're miserable. I'm talking about being the king of earth. You don't want to be the king of earth. At least be the king of your house. If someone breaks into that house, you have to die to protect that woman. You're paying the bills. And you said leave me alone for 5 minutes and she's giving you attitude? Bro, you said don't post our location on Instagram. They want to kill me and she's worried about her likes? Most people's lives, most dudes' relationships, their lives are so fucked up. They don't even realize. No wonder you're sad. Look in the mirror. Look in your own eyes. I'd be miserable if I was these people. If I have a girlfriend, that's, I guess, it's one of the best things about status. I know this is a bit off topic because you asked me how I want to be remembered, but the answer is I want to live true to my masculine imperatives. But if I have a girlfriend and I get a girlfriend and I like her very much and we're together, and I say, we're together now, you don't need Instagram. You know what she says? Cool. And deletes it. I don't have to force her. I don't have to tell her. I don't have to control her. I just say it. And she's like, yeah, because she respects me and she knows I'm worth more than any Instagram page. If you say to your chick, delete Insta, she's like, well, I want my Instagram.
Get rid of her.
Bro, well, I mean, she needs it for some, I don't know. But I'm saying, if you're not even in, most men, I think most men desire respect. I think we all desire respect innately. But if you're not in charge of your house and you're not in charge of your own relationship and you're working for someone else, you're not in charge of your business. And obviously you're not in charge of the government because they're out to wreck you. Like, what are you doing? Of course you're sad. I'd rather be me and get punched in the face by the Matrix and get back up, or get punched in the face and keep smiling. But at least I have some semblance of control of my empire. At least. Most of these men haven't got anything. And that's why they're so sad. And I would hate to be remembered as one of them. But they won't be remembered at all. And that's why when they die, there'll be a number. And there's always going to be numbers and names on this planet. And the names have always had difficult lives. If you look back at any battle in history, they will say 13,000 people died.
And X person.
And one of them was him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy. And avoiding all of the hardship it takes to become that guy is truly insane. Because you'll just be one of the 13,000. You'll still die. Like I said earlier about the man who doesn't want to fight things till wars go away. No, that's the reason I'm fighting this war against the Matrix, because they're coming for all of us. If any man is watching this, I may be charging at the gunfire first. I may be leading the charge and I may be getting hurt. You're somewhere at the back and you feel safe. They're coming for all of us. So at least I get to go down as a name as opposed to dying as a number. So don't worry about me dying a little bit early. Worry about yourself dying and not being remembered at all.
Andrew Tate, I want to thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
And guys, I know I've probably been quiet this episode, but when you have someone like yourself on Tate, God gave us one mouth and two ears for a reason, so all we got to do is listen.
Thank you, sir.
So now I'm excited to have Tristan on and listen to see what he says as well.
Thank you, bro.
Have you got any questions that you'd like me to ask Tristan?
Ask him who's better at Uno. That's important. Let's see if I want to see if he tells you the truth. Let me tell you all guys something at home. I have never lost a game of Uno. I am undefeated, world champion, centennial, 3-time world champion. I was in jail, 3 life sentences, just me by myself, 1,000 people against me in the biggest Uno game ever played in history. I beat 1,000 people with no cards. I beat them, they let me out of my 3 life sentences. All of them had to get the bus to Jupiter because they were stupider than me. And I stayed here on Earth as the champ. You can't play greens against me. If you play greens at any point, I'm guaranteed to beat you. Blues and reds don't work. Uno, world champ. Repeat all of that to Tristan so he knows. Tell him he's been to Jupiter, he's stupider. I've been to jail, 3 life sentences. I got out because of my Uno prowess. I have never lost a game.